Hello, folks. Welcome back to the program. A special guest today, former Democratic Alliance Mayor of Tshwane, or better known to the world outside, at least part of the town is Pretoria, but now known in the metropolitan as Tshwane. Former DA Mayor Cilliers Brink, whom I've met in the past and interviewed. I asked him to come on today to talk about this horrific situation after the Scotland game at Loftus, in which a South Africa Springbok fan fell to his death in a city construction site. And if I'm not mistaken, he believes the municipality is culpable or responsible for this. And Cilliers Brink, we're going to ask him about that. I'll call you mayor because the way things work is the highest title you've had, and I think that's the highest title you had. I'm still a colonel, and I think you're still a mayor, even though you're not the current mayor. So, Mayor Brink, welcome back to the program.
Thanks, Chris. Great to be with you. You
So,
don't mind if I call you Chris?
no, it's fine. You don't have to call me Colonel. We'll get over that. Yeah, the ego's not that big, trust me. I've been called far worse than by my name. So, Cilliers, let me ask you. You don't mind me calling you Cilliers instead of Mr. Mayor? All right. So the situation, this gentleman went to the game at Scotland, got separated from his family afterwards, which happens. I mean, there were about 50,000 people at the stadium, and you mill out of the stadium. And apparently, he lost his mobile phone while he was at the stadium, so they couldn't contact him. Only to find out horrific news after posting something on social media over the weekend. Someone said a man fell to his death, and they identified a bag that he'd been carrying, and they had the realization that unfortunately that's who it was.
That's true. The city is at the moment installing a bus lane on Linwood Road, which basically passes the stadium, and there are excavations happening. That project has been delayed for many, many years. It runs next to the University of Pretoria, and in one of my previous communications, I've said you've had graduates who've started university and have graduated, and that project still hasn't advanced. And the concern is that there was a very deep excavation, because obviously when you install a bus lane, when you extend roads, you dig up pipes and you move those pipes. And the concern was that that area wasn't properly demarcated. You didn't have the proper warning signs, and it wasn't closed. I remember I actually attended the game with my wife, and we were driving on Linwood Road, and we reached a point on Linwood Road where my wife said to me, "We probably can't go further than this because it seems that there are excavations here." But it wasn't as if the road was effectively closed. There weren't markings, and I said to her, "You're probably right." And it is just beyond that point which this terrible tragedy happened. So I do think there's a very serious case for the municipality to answer to. Um, were there warnings on my side? I obviously came from the opposite side, not the stadium side. There weren't demarcations. There weren't barriers put up to indicate a proper warning. And I think especially because this project has been delayed for so long, probably mismanaged, and we'll have to see what that result is.
If I understand correctly from comments that people are posting, I'm not there and I haven't spoken to any of them, that it appears that there wasn't proper signage or any barriers posted. But I think I saw a comment, you were quoted in the press, I don't know if it's accurate, that afterwards you had gone there and now you noticed that suddenly there were barriers and warning signs up. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. So the place that I went, this was at the exact spot where me and my wife, she had to say to me, "Listen, I think we shouldn't probably continue on this road. We should turn around and find another way to the stadium." But we could have driven on until we had found out there was a hole. By that time, the sun was still shining. But not the next day, this was about 2 days afterwards, suddenly we saw that barricades had gone up, clearly indicating that the road was closed. But I can only imagine. Remember, um, there are no street lights there because all of that has been dug up. If you don't have warning signs, if you don't have security people, you can't be here. Then it is very plausible that somebody who gets lost or is in the throng of a crowd can think that they might be able to walk down Linwood Road, and then this happens to them. So, no, barricades definitely went up On the other side, this is not the stadium side. On the other side, after the fact.
Now, we don't know. Is there an inquest into this right now by SAPS or someone taking a look at this or the municipal police to figure out if something else happened? Because I know that some people may have been speculating that he might have been misled there or that maybe he was attacked, but there's no indications of that at this point, is there?
Yeah, I obviously don't want to speculate on the circumstances in which this happened, because also you want to respect the family, and I do understand that the family is consulting with an attorney who you might know, Willie Spies. He's assisting the family pro bono, essentially, from what I can gather. And I don't want to speculate because I do want these people to get justice, and we want the facts to be established. So there is an investigation ongoing. There has to be in these circumstances. If you've got a public works project and somebody falls in a hole, we have to establish what the details are. So there has to be an inquest into the death. And the municipality has also indicated that it will investigate the matter. I think it's very important that folks who have information, for instance, just yesterday, a member of the public reached out to me and said, I was the first person on the scene. I saw this happening. And I immediately referred that person to the authorities, as well as the person who I know is representing the family, so that they can give their account of events. But if there's anyone else who has an account of what happened, who can testify to whether there were barricades up and what the state of that site was, it's important for those folks to come forward. They can contact me as well. I'm very happy to bring them in touch with authorities, but we have to get to the bottom of this terrible tragedy.
Now, you remain a councillor, I believe, in Tshwane, and you're running once again to be the mayor. Your former deputy mayor, briefly, who's from Action SA, is the current mayor, if I'm not mistaken. Has either the mayor or the council or the city released any statement on this as of yet, or are they waiting for the investigation?
I think they've just confirmed that they'll investigate the matter, and they've expressed condolences. But, we know the nature of bureaucracies in that they want to cover their own tracks. And so we're going to be very cautious of that and make sure that that doesn't happen in this instance.
What a horrific thing to go to an incredible event like that, which, they're a little ugly from the 14-0 until later in the second half after Ben Jason Dixon's yellow card expired before the Springboks woke up. Almost made me think of the Australia game last year when they were ahead, and wound up getting shellacked, and then the England game previously. But what a horrific situation to go to. What was obviously a great atmosphere, a lot of tries scored in that game, very exciting at Loftus, to be walking home back to your guest house, and at just the young age of 51 to pass away in such a horrible way. I mean, this sort of thing shouldn't be happening. Was it dark? Did that contribute, perhaps?
I think the darkness definitely contributed. The game started when the sun was still shining, but the end of it, it was dark. And as I mentioned, this part of the road where the excavations is happening, the street lights have been removed, so it's completely dark. You can't see what's happening. And at least from the side that I was traveling, no barricades, no indication of an imminent danger. No doubt that contributed to the situation. But, you've been to a game, you know what these things are like. There are crowds of people walking to their cars, and you're in a happy, jolly mood. You're not anticipating to fall into a hole. And so, indeed, a very tragic situation.
Yeah, we'll respect the family, and hopefully we'll get some answers to sort this out. And if there's any culpability, hopefully someone will be held accountable. When you go to these games, your biggest fear normally is where your wallet is, where your mobile phone is, to make sure you get safely to and from your car. I'm not picking on Loftus, but I'm saying in South Africa, and again, I'm not picking South Africa. That could be a Twickenham as well. Your biggest concern, if your alert, is making sure there aren't pickpockets or something like that, or somebody coming after you. But I mean, never in my wildest dreams would I ever expected to walk back to my lodging or to my car from Loftus and fall into a hole and have such a terrible thing happen. This can't happen again.
Absolutely. You're quite right. That's what you look out for. You look out for the security of your own person, pockets, and so on. You don't look out for massive holes. And this was a project that happens in a highly concentrated area. You've got the stadium on one side. You've got the Gautrain bridge running across that road. You have a train station right there. You have the University of Pretoria on one corner. On the other corner, you've got a primary school. So this is a high density urban center where you know that there are pedestrians, you know that there's traffic happening right on the edge. In fact, this road was sort of partially closed, is a major thoroughfare in Pretoria. And so the more features you have, the more you need to attend to safety, the more you need to identify safety hazards, especially if you are the municipality and undertaking a major construction project.